It's time for the No Nonsense Roundtable. Insights to capture your imagination from people you know and people you'd like to know about. Each week, a different guest from a different walk of life. Now, here is the host of the No Nonsense Roundtable, Dom Geneva.
Good morning and welcome to the No Nonsense Roundtable. I'm going to start the show with a twist. Before I introduce my guest, I'd like you to hear this ad for the Rotary Sunshine Camp, and please listen carefully.
It's a magical place for kids of all abilities.
At no charge, the Rochester Rotary Sunshine Camp has been serving children of all abilities for the last 100 years. Help us grow into the next 100 years. Go to sunshinecamp.org to learn more about how you can help.
Where kids have no barriers to fun.
The Rochester Rotary Sunshine Camp.
Well, my guest today is Chuck Brucato, who produced that ad for the Rotary Sunshine Camp with the cooperation of Tracy Dreisbach, who is the executive director of the Sunshine Camp, and Mr. Don Alhart. And I happen to have Mr. Don Alhart on the phone right now. And Don, that was a pretty good thing that Chuck came up with, isn't it?
It's a marvelous jingle, Dom and Chuck, as you know. It really focuses on the camp, and there's all of Chuck's jingles have done. It's something you keep in your mind, and every time you hear it, you kind of envision, in our case, all of that camp represents. And it's a simple phrase, no barriers to fun, but in those simple moments and those simple musical notes, the whole camp kind of comes alive in your mind and imagination, and that's what we had hoped to accomplish. And Chuck and our group, in talking about it and bringing it, really made that happen. It's fantastic.
Well, thank you very much, Don. That was a nice compliment, and of course, it was a team effort between you and Tracy and Dom, and I really enjoyed it, and the kids had a lot of fun singing it, and I hope, and I'm sure it'll be very successful for a lot of years for you.
And that's what the show today is all about. The different music branding and jingles that Chuck has done that you hear on TV or the radio, and the contribution that he's made to Rochester. Don?
Well, what fascinates me most is when we sat down to talk about this, and Chuck's ability to instantly translate a part of a sentence he hears into a musical jingle. We'd be sitting there and say, well, he'll say, what is a camp? Well, it's, a camp. We don't have any barriers. I mean, no barriers to fun. Okay, no. And you can see the notes clicking in his eyes and his face. He immediately translates the core of what we're talking about. Whether it's, and you'll talk about some of his other jingles, I'm sure, but I can picture those strategy sessions with others as well. He takes those little snippets that we talk about and instantly transforms them into musical clips in his mind. And when you put all of those results together, you've got a jingle that people are going to cherish for decades and decades to come.
Well, I have to say that I worked for Chrysler for 17 years, the company itself, in corporate capacity, and then had my dealership since 1994. And the thing about Chuck is he, quote unquote, he gets it, because what his jingles do, his branding does, it communicates something. It communicates a feeling. It communicates a topic, and it connects with people, which is wonderful, because that's exactly what he did with his Rotary Sunshine Camp. Well, what kind of feeling do you want? It's supposed to be upbeat. Yeah. Who's your audience? And at one time he called me, and I think this was unbelievable. He calls me one morning. I'm out there getting the mail, and he goes, we got this line in there, and we have the kids singing it, but the kids wouldn't say that. I mean, it just bothers me. And he was Don. He was spot on. Yeah. So the kids are singing what the kids are supposed to be singing. The rest of the singers are singing what they're supposed to be singing. It's all because he had that sense.
Yeah, and that's the key. I mean, that insight, that ability to transform that is what makes it so very, very special. It's a talent in Rochester that is to be appreciated, and for the most part, he's behind the scenes. He's creating all of this for us to hear. As soon as people hear a jingle, as we discussed many times, they're genuinely surprised. You mean that was done here? Those people are singing here? I can remember when we were talking about the camp, I just said to Chuck and all of you, as we strategized. I said, in my mind, when people hear this jingles, I want to picture kids around a campfire, some of them with challenges, some with not, some in wheelchairs, maybe not, making s'mores around a campfire. Now, that was my vision. I said, if you can make that into music, go ahead. And that's exactly what Chuck did.
And the intent of my show today is, and you hit the nail on the head. He's behind the scenes doing these things, and people don't know. So this is the intent of the No Nonsense Roundtable this Saturday morning, is to let more people know about Chuck and the great stuff that he does.
And people should. And the jingles there, humming and singing, and the phone numbers we all remember, not because it's something we've seen on the web, but a phone number that we can sing. I can picture people dialing a phone sometime. 271. I can picture people singing as their finger hits each note, which is really a number on a phone, because they remember how we put it together.
Yeah. And he's worked with some wonderful advertising agencies here. We're going to be talking a little bit about that. But thank you for calling in, Don. I really do appreciate it. And your work with the Rotary Sunshine Camp is legendary, and it's a wonderful organization. And God bless you for what you do, Don.
Thank you very much, Don.
And thank you for the jingle. And Don, thank you for making it happen. I think that's something I need to point out as well. Without Dom connecting with you, Chuck, and Dom saying, I want to make this happen for the camp. The combination is that's what it's all about. The teamwork, the camaraderie.
Exactly.
The community spirit in this town is what makes us all thrive.
Oh, and Don, it wouldn't have happened unless you gave me that recommendation to go see the place, because man, oh man alive, is that some great organization and some great facility that you have. So again, God bless you for what you do, Don. Thanks for calling in.
All right. Have a great day.
Thank you. Well, Chuck, that was a pretty good testimonial there from Mr. Alhart, don't you think?
Wow, I'm really excited about that. It was very nice of him.
Well, let's talk a little bit about how you got to do this from where you started, because you had a group, the Rustix, in the early 60s, right? You were recording at Barry Gordy's studio, Motown, out in Detroit, right? We
did 2 albums at Motown, and the Rustix, was a series of coincidences, really. My friends and I, there were 4 of us, just loved to sing. That's all we wanted to do. We had no thoughts of being rock stars or any of that stuff. So we, 2 or 3 nights a week, we'd sing at my friend's house. Just loved singing harmony. One night, we went to a bar to have a beer afterwards, and we're in the booth. We're the only ones there. The door opens, a guy comes in, says, "You guys sound really good. Why don't you play at my place in Ontario?" Mm-hmm. I just opened a bar. And I said, "Well, we don't have a band." And he says, "Well, can you get one?" I said, "Well, yeah, okay, I'll put one together. But we don't have any equipment." He says, "How much is equipment?" And this is the early 60s. I said, "I don't know, a couple $100. He goes, "Here, boom, boom," and he lays down 200. He says, "I'll see you in a week at my bar. You play Friday nights." And we all looked at each other and said, "You guys really want to do this?" And we were all working at the time, obviously. So we said, yeah, it'll be fun to be at a bar and sing songs, I guess. So my parents had 2 10-inch speakers in the basement. I got those. Took the 200 down to Rochester Supply, something or other, and got a 50-watt Bogan amplifier and 2 gold microphones. And we plugged that all together. I don't even know if they blew up or not. And we went out there, and that's how the whole thing started. And from there, we just went from different members left and different members came in, and we got different opportunities to play here and there. And next thing you know, we're at Motown Records. It was quite a
that's a whole story in itself, because you have Barry Gordy stories, you have Diana Ross stories, and all these other things, and how things were done in those days. But how did you get into the marketing? I mean, this is a tremendous pivot, and you have a talent for this, telling a story with your music.
Boy, that's interesting.
What was the first one you did?
The very
one of the first ones.
The very first one, I actually, after the band, I worked for J Advertising for a while. Mm-hmm. And I think the first one we did was Everybody's Driving Scuddy. Everybody's Driving Scuddy. And several others there. And then when I went on my own, I did a lot of stuff out west also. At a lot of car dealers. And,
well, you worked with a couple of big advertising agencies. Jay, we'll talk a little bit about Jay later, but big advertising agency that's based here in Rochester that's done the themes for HBO and a lot of stuff for the Olympics and stuff like that.
Oh,
right?
yeah. And, well, Ferdinand and I did the CBS Movie of the Week theme, that was a pretty big deal. And
that is a big deal. You see, people don't know this stuff.
Yeah.
That's why you're on the show.
Yeah. And the early stuff, Old West, look at those ladies looking good in those jeans. Old West, and Pizza Kitchens, Pizza.
Well, we're going to talk about some of the local ads that you do, and so what I'm going to do is we're going to do a little retail here too. You're still doing this as a career, and we're going to tell people how to get in touch with you. But the other thing, neat thing I want to mention is that you are in the Rochester Music Hall of Fame too. So.
Oh, that was quite an honor. That was a big honor. I mean, to be at the Eastman Theater, be on the stage at the Eastman Theater, and after all those years, knowing all the people that have been on that stage through the years, it's really an honor.
Yeah.
And we got, I guess I could say, we got 2 standing ovations, which really, really excited me. You know, that people really remembered the music and still enjoyed the music. And a lot of people still listen to the Rustix albums, and hello everybody out there, your Rustix fans.
Well, we're about ready to head to a break, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to pose a question to our listeners. I'm going to say, one of the jingles is that there's a restaurant on Park Avenue, and you wrote a jingle for them, and after the break, we're going to play that jingle. I'm going to let everybody kind of wonder what it is, and then we're going to talk to the person that owns the business. So that'll be right after this.
Sooner or later, everybody dines at Giants. Everybody dines at Giants.
Yeah, Giants, a wonderful restaurant on Park Avenue. And I happen to have on the phone Mr. Peter Gines, who owns Gines. So welcome to the No Nonsense Roundtable, Mr. Gines.
Well, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Well, tell us a little bit about your relationship here with Mr. Brucato and the jingle and what it's done for you.
You know, I'll tell you, many, many years ago, he was introduced to me through another person. And the focus of that was to kind of create a jingle for the restaurant. And that's where our relationship started. And we sat down. I remember sitting down, talking with him at the restaurant. We was asking a bunch of questions about, what we're like. Not that he hadn't patronized us before, but really some detailed questions that made us think about who our clientele is or who is not. Maybe that's an easier way to answer the question. Then all of a sudden we had these CDs presented to us. Okay, so now we're kind of going back, aging ourselves how long ago it was, and I listened to it and I'm like, wow, this hits, this hits, it sticks, it sounds great. And now we fast forward 20 years later, I'll still have people who will be sitting down eating. I'll walk by the table and they will hum this jingle still today.
Yeah. And Chuck, you were telling me a story the other day about your thought process about Gines, because in typical good marketing fashion, you're looking to hit a certain audience, and Gines has a very varied audience. And tell us a little bit about your thought process with that.
Well, I've always been very familiar with the Park Avenue area. And, there are people who have lived there for years, and they're into the Philharmonic and the arts. And then there's a lot of transient college kids and high school kids. And so it's a really eclectic area. So I didn't want to do anything that was on the radio or that was very current. And I'm trying to figure out what would all these people relate to, all these different age groups and et cetera. And I kept breaking it down, and I said, well, just a very basic blues idea. And I really thought that everybody could relate to that. And it's not heavy blues, but it's blues oriented. And just a simple line, sooner or later, everybody dies a giant. When I brought that in, I said, gee, I hope Peter gets this, because it's not something that's going to knock you over the head. But that's another thing I don't like to do, to come up with things that burn out over a month.
Well, you are absolutely right.
I mean, this has got legs. Obviously, it's what? How old is this, Peter? 20 years old? 15 years old?
Easily 20 years old, a jingle.
Yeah.
And the restaurant were 51.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's still one of my favorites. And I'm not saying that because you're on the air. It's just something about it that just I enjoy.
No, I look at this and I see that you have a broad audience for this jingle. Mm-hmm. Everybody, it's not niche, so you don't want some music that's just going to hit one demographic.
Exactly.
It's broad, it's rememberable, if that's a word, you can remember it, and it has legs, and you build equity in it. That's like you did the jingle for my dealerships, Genesee Valley, Valley, and GeneseeValley.com. And over time, you build equity in it. Mm-hmm. And people, you're right, you go places and people start singing it to you. And that is that's like the holy grail, of jingles. So Peter, you're going to keep on using this jingle again.
I don't see us not using it. It's but I think you said it right on point for us. When we look at our clientele, I'll look in the dining room and I'll see young people, old people, everyone in the middle. One time we had 4 generations at one table.
Exactly.
And I think that's where through knowing the customer, not just our customers, but me as, so to speak, as the customer. It was perfect. It really hit well for us, and it was an understanding of both, me and our customer base. What more do we want?
Well, thank you very much, Peter.
Well, Peter,
I thank you.
Well, Peter, thank you for calling in, and I always enjoy having breakfast over there, and it's the only place I think in Rochester where you can get a bagel lox and a good schmear.
Well, listen, I appreciate it. I thank you for having me on, and you guys have a great day.
Okay,
you too.
Thank you.
All right,
thank you.
Thanks. Take care. Yep, bye-bye.
Well, that was another great testimonial for you there, Chuck.
Oh, it's great to hear from him.
Well, we're about ready to head into the news break, but when we come out, we're going to be playing a jingle for a local place that sells, appliances, TVs, and stuff like that. And going to have you guess who that is, and we're going to talk to the owner when we get back. Well, Chuck, Mr. Gines was certainly one of your fans, huh?
Oh, it's good to hear from Peter. No, I'm going to have to go in for breakfast. I don't have to, but he's got me thinking about going in for the best breakfast in town.
Yeah. The thing that really impressed me about that is that in marketing, we talk about niche marketing and broad marketing. And that's broad marketing. I mean, the idea that everybody goes to Gines, and you don't want to exclude the college students, and you don't want to exclude the bankers either. You want to have a broad approach to it, and you did a good job with that.
And a lot of that has to do with the music style and that, bringing it down to the basic, that sort of the music that everything is based on, which is If you listen to the Giants jingle, that's what it is.
Now, when you look at Mad Men, have you ever seen Mad Men?
Sure.
Okay. So Don Draper is sitting in a couch looking out the window, smoking a cigarette. You probably don't smoke, or if you did,
No, I
don't smoke. And you sit there and you just stare out the window. Is that what you do?
A lot of times. Sometimes I'll pull out of a client's parking lot and I already got it.
Yeah.
And then a couple of times, it takes a while to get it. And there's a lot of research, going up on the website and looking at the product and what the product's all about. And there's a lot that goes into it. A lot of pre-production. Well, it's all pre-production.
Yeah. I did a bit of copywriting for my ad. Well, I did all my ads, and it's like that. Sometimes you drive down the road. You have to drive down the road, have nothing else bothering you, and you think about it, right?
Right, exactly. Yeah. I did a jingle for the El Dorado Casino in Reno, and I'll make this as fast as I can. I went out there, and they couldn't have been more wonderful, and they, a great budget, and obviously a casino's a great account. And I came home, and what stumped me is at the time you couldn't say anything about gambling, and I said, "Oh no, I got to write something about a jingle with nothing about gambling." And so the first day, second day, nothing. And she called me. It was the owner's wife. Wonderful people. Well, you got anything yet? No, I'll have something tomorrow. And blank, just total blank. So finally, then by Thursday of that week, then it was, well, Chuck, do you have anything now or what? Kind of attitude. I said, I will call you tomorrow and I will have it. And so I went into the room and I said, I'm going to call her up. And whatever comes off the top of my head, that's what it is, because I'm total blank. So I call her up. Her name was, I can't remember her name now. And I said, and now it's, well, have you got something? And I said, yeah, how do you like this? You can feel it. The magic is everywhere. The action, the style, the food, the flair. What do you think? Oh, I love that. I went, whoa. And from then on, I got the rest of it.
There you go. There you go.
But that was a week of sweating it out.
Having to be creative on a deadline, that's got to be tough.
And the other thing is, I wanted to give 110% on this one because they were so good to me. And I think I couldn't think of anything.
Now let's listen to that jingle I promised everybody before the break.
Charlotte, you'll save a lot. We're making your home a lot more enjoyable. We know a lot. We've got a lot. You'll save a lot. Charlotte.
And the jingle you just heard was for Charlotte Appliance. And I have Anthony Augustinelli on the phone, who owns Charlotte Appliance. So, Anthony, how are you?
I'm doing well. How about yourself, Don?
Now, how long have you been in business?
90 years.
90 years. Oh, yep. Man, I have to tell
90
you.
90 years.
God bless you. In this day and age.
I'm the third generation.
That's great. That is great.
My daughter just started about a year ago, so we have the fourth generation up and running.
Oh, that is just wonderful. I mean, you've seen a lot of changes in the past in the past number of years, and you seem to be thriving, surviving, and part of it is because you have a great jingle.
That's right. That's it. It certainly didn't hurt. It's a great jingle, and a lot of people are walking around singing that jingle for 25, 30 years now. So it's worked out well for us.
Well, thank you very much. And I also would like to say that was a jingle that I worked with a great team at Frontline Advertising, Frank Contestable and John Brown, and worked it all out. And I went and put the music together. And I'm so happy that it's been successful all these years.
Yeah, it really came together nice. and it still resonates after all these years. So we were fortunate that you and Frank were able to come up with something like that.
There are two things in particular I like about that jingle. One, it says something. It says something of value. It doesn't hit you in a really hard retail way, but it just says something nice and gentle. And the other thing is that the alliteration in there, Charlotte, you'll save a lot. I mean, it just hits you when you look at the town of Charlotte. You want to say saves a lot.
Yeah, it came together nice. It's like you're saying, it says a lot of different things, and it's soft sale, and it's really done tastefully.
Yeah, great family business. Well, thanks for calling in. We appreciate. Well, this is like Chuck Brucato. This is your life day. So I appreciate it. Keep on doing the great things you're doing there, Anthony.
Thank you for having me on.
Okay, thanks, buddy.
Thank you.
Have a good day. All right, John, Chuck, have a good day.
Oh, that's another testimonial for you there, right?
No.
But there's a certain alliteration there too, and then tell me some of the other ones that you've done. I mean, I'm looking at this. Just City Mattress, Crossfield here, Rochester, Colonial, Bill
City
Graves.
Mattress says, wake up to that City Mattress feeling. Stretch out to the ceiling and you're ready for today. Good nights and good mornings and you feel good all the time. It's that City Mattress feeling fine.
So did you ever have anything that just didn't work? I remember there was somebody I was talking to with a sub shop, and they had like a tripe sandwich or something. It didn't work. I mean,
geez, I wonder why.
Is there anything that you've done that you're like,
Oh boy,
or some are just more successful than others. You're such a good marketing guy that you can't tell us anything that bombed, right?
Well, one thing that shocked me one time was, I don't know if the British still in business was, I had to meet with Harley Davidson, and I said, well, I'm going to go out there and I'm going to go into this old garage, and there's going to be these biker guys around and everything, and I went all the way out there. And I met this beautiful lady in this absolutely pristine shop with all this wonderful Harley Davidson equipment. Oh, yeah. And I said, wow, this is... and I came up with Harley Davidson, everything you need to get on your Harley and ride.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there's your niche marketing. That doesn't have to be really broad because... and that's a pretty good example of a company that transformed themselves into it's just a lot of rich guys have Harleys now. It's not like in the old days. People that are searching for their youth, let's say.
Right, and then going back and playing it for the Harv's people. And then there were a few bikers out there, and I said, boy, I hope I come out of this. And they loved it. They really.
And that's exactly the opposite of what you did with Giants.
Yeah.
Yeah. After the break, a jingle about a heating and air conditioning company. Can you guess who it is?
Here's another great tip from Quip, heating and air. Quality is in the air. Quip, heating and air.
Well, that's the jingle everybody knows is for Quip heating and air conditioning. We've heard it over the years. It kind of resonates kind of nicely in your mind. And I happen to have Mr. Phil Young, who is the owner of Quip heating and air conditioning, on the phone. And Phil, this jingle kind of works for you, doesn't it, buddy?
Yeah, it does. We've been using that jingle in our TV commercials and our radio for about a decade now, and I can't even pull into Wegmans without having customers sing it to me when they see the lettering on the vehicle. So our technicians get the similar response as well. Our customers seem to really resonate with it, and Chuck just did a great job with us on that.
I think that's one of the keys of a good jingle is that you have it for years and years and years, and it gets associated with you and associated with your business. But you also have to have a great business behind it, because the jingle is not going to do your business for you. It's just going to lead people to your business. And I know Quip is a darn good HVAC company, and I use it myself.
Yeah, I mean, we strive for just the highest customer service, and we just really like seeing customers happy. And I think that's also the upbeat of the jingle goes along with kind of the upbeat nature of how we approach our business and services.
Yeah, I can see that. It sort of sets a mood for you. Well, that's good. Well, congratulations on having such a successful business and having such success with your jingle and stuff that Chuck has done for you. So with that, thanks for calling in, and good luck to you.
Great. Thank you.
Well, another happy customer, Phil Young, but you got to get a lot of that. People know the jingle. They may not know that you did the jingle, but they know the jingle. And a lot of this stuff is done from advertising agencies, like you said. I mean, it's a team thing, and Jay Advertising. And
Jay and Frontline. And, I've had and a lot of account execs from a lot of the radio and TV stations, iHeart and Channel 8 and those people.
Yeah, that's why I
work with a lot of great people on these things. And
that's how I got you years ago that did the Genesee Valley, because my advertising rep at iHeart said, "Oh, you should really get this fella." And I said, Chuck who?
Yeah.
You should have a jingle. You know what? We should have a jingle for you. What does it say? The shoemaker's kids don't have the best shoes, or something. You know, how about Brucato music? What would that sound like?
Well, let's see.
Compado with Brucato. Well, let's start talking about some of the. I know you have a list of about, I don't know, like a few dozen out there. But well, let's give somebody a little bit of an eye wash of some of the more famous ones.
You're getting hungry, say gimme, 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 Bill Gray.
That's great. Yeah.
Let's see. Share the good times. Tom Waltz. Paris Heating and Cooling. Let's see. Trinity Home Reservations, call 222 Roof. I hope they're enjoying this. We're gonna pick 'em at Wickham Farms.
Oh yeah.
There you go.
You know what the amazing thing is? I think a lot of people think this stuff is done in New York City on Madison Avenue or whatever. It's locally grown. You know, locally grown advertising that you do.
And by the way, I'm glad you brought that up, because I'm a writer-producer, and none of this could be... I have to mention somebody I've worked with for almost 30 years, and that's Andy Calabrese, on a lot of this stuff, as far as arrangements, and he's an excellent keyboardist, and he's become an excellent recording engineer. So my bud, Andy Calabrese, deserves some credit for a lot of this stuff.
Well, he did the Rotary Sunshine Camp, right?
Right, that's where we recorded that.
Yeah, I saw his studio. It's just I was just amazed that you're producing that kind of stuff in Pittsburgh. I mean, it's
the quality of equipment these days, and it just, you don't have to go to these monumental studios anymore. You could do it in very small spaces with the quality and the style of equipment that we can use today.
Mm-hmm. And you have a team of people you can draw from. I mean, the kids that you had. Well, your grandson was one of those kids.
Yeah, my grandson, Jake the Great, I call him.
And he's what? He's like 8, right?
Yeah, he's 8. He just turned 8. And he and the other, 3 others, they did a great job. They were just wonderful kids, and they were so excited to be in there, in the studio, rather. And also, there's so many singers and musicians that I use on these, like Alyssa Coco and Johnny Cummings, and I hate to say anything because I'm going to forget somebody, Gladstone, and just so many talented people that you can count on to do a great job.
Yeah.
Very professional.
Yep. So the other thing is you're still performing. You perform with your son, and let's talk a little bit about that. I mean, you obviously don't do that for anything other than the love of doing it.
Exactly. We perform Friday night, and I just love doing that because it's every once in a while. I'm performing with my son, obviously, so we have a great time doing that, and not too many sons want their 42-year-old father up on the stage with them, so I have to hand it to him for that. Because come on, Dad, come on. No, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. Come on, and being the ham that I am, I have to go up and.
Well, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree, and he's got talent. It's not like he
he's a
doesn't
very
have talent, and
very talented writer, and becoming a good producer also.
And it's got to give you some joy to pass that down. And it sounds like your grandson is.
Jake
going to be in the same place.
Yeah.
Now, is he interested in a musical instrument yet, or?
He's just, everybody brags about their grandson, but he just seems to be a natural.
Yeah.
On the Sunshine Camp.
Yeah.
I went to him first to sing. To have him sing the lines that I came up to see if the kids could sing it.
Yeah.
And I remember when you said I had changed things around. I said, well, kids can't sing this line because he was having a little tough time singing it, and he's good.
Well, that impressed me because you said kids wouldn't. We're not going to say what it is. I mean, it's nothing offensive, but just say kids wouldn't speak like that.
Right.
Kids wouldn't speak like that. They wouldn't say, like a 12-syllable word. I mean, that's not the way they think. That's not the way they talk. That's not the way they would act. Yeah. And that was a very good point.
Yeah, so we switched it around.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jake the Great is...
Jake the Great.
Jake the Great.
So...
I had him sing on another one, Sweet Tango Apples. Yeah. And he came in, when you go in the studio, you're putting earphones on and you're listening to music and you're listening to your voice and you have to come in at the right time and everything. This little guy goes in, he sings it once, and I said, you got to sing that a little louder. Sang it a little louder, and that was it. Yeah. 2 takes. Yeah. Then he takes the headphones off and goes, it's like it's nothing. It's like it's no big deal. I mean, he doesn't walk around looking for applause or anything.
Yeah. So the creative process has got to be incredible because not only are you managing your own talent, but somebody else's talent. Then you're picking out other people to hire, like you did in the Sunshine Camp, and it's got to be really rewarding for you. That list of on your lap there of different jingles and businesses. I mean, how many are on there? What is it, like 3? It's got to be like 50.
Hundreds and hundreds over the years. I mean, this isn't all of them.
Yeah.
This is just.
Yeah. Well, good.
Yeah, I've been very fortunate.
Yeah. Well, you're a talent, and you become a good friend, and I'm amazed by you because when I heard that creative process you were doing with the Rotary Sunshine Camp and the questions you were asking, it was the mark of somebody who has an executive mind and the talent of an artist. So thank you for coming on the show. It's been
thank
delightful,
you very much.
Delightful having you, and we got to get more people to know about you. And I think I'm going to hire you to do your own jingle. Brucato music, always on your side. Well, thank you for listening, everybody. It's the No Nonsense Roundtable every Saturday here on Wham 1180 and always on NoNonsenseRoundtable.com. Well, thanks for watching this YouTube. If you liked it, please like and share.